Hey, what's up DIYers? Mike Boers with the Mike Boers channel. Thank you for watching. We are going to unwinterize or de-winterize our entire drip line system, and we have a Hunter brand. Let's go outside and get started. All right, DIYers, inside the utility room, here is our main box for our drip line system. It is a Hunter brand, and before we plug it in, we're going to grab the rain sensor, take it outside, and reinstall it. I removed this to alleviate wear and tear during the winter. I don't want water getting in there, freezing, and expanding, and breaking the sensor. That would not be good. Outside now, and the mount for our rain sensor is on our corner portion of our deck. Rain sensor installed, on to the next step. We are now at the exterior plumbing portion of our drip line system, and we've got 3 valves, 2 blue. As you see, they are not open nor are they closed. That is to prevent damage during the cold winter season. And then we have an additional valve here that is also open. However, we're not going to touch those yet. This little fitting is what the company removes from the bottom portion here to prevent water getting trapped inside the plumbing, to again alleviate water freezing, expanding, and damaging the plumbing. That would not be good. And they tape it here with electrical tape. Let's go ahead and remove it. And DIYers, as I remove this, scrolling above right now is a link to a video that shows a professional company bringing out their super engine powered air compressor and draining our entire drip line system. There's the fitting. We may need to apply new Teflon and remove this tape. Now to the bottom fitting here, we are going to just carefully remove any remaining debris, cobwebs, bugs, dirt, and old Teflon tape. On the opposite side, the internal thread is clean, and again, personal preference. However, we applied new Teflon tape that's going to assist in creating a much better watertight seal. Go ahead and hand tighten that. Next, I grabbed an adjustable wrench, and we are going to tighten that fitting even more. Do not over tighten it. It is plastic, but you want it snug. With the lower fitting now secured as shown, let's direct our attention to our 3 valves. Again, 2 blue and 1 circular valve all the way at the end. This is our backflow prevention valve. Make sure that's fully closed and no longer in line with the plumbing itself. Leave that one as is. Come to this one and close it by turning it clockwise. You want it snug, but do not over tighten it. Now to the opposite end, these are ports here. You'll notice the flathead screw, and by taking these off, there's internal threads. However, again, you want those caps on. We're going to grab a flathead screwdriver and turn those screws until they're 12 and 6. Grab my small little flathead screwdriver, and these may be tough to move. However, again, you want it at the 12 and 6 position. Do not want those leaking when the water is supplied to the system. And if they leak or your upper diaphragm is leaking from underneath, the diaphragm itself may need to be replaced. Next, since we're here, we're going to remove the covers for our spigots. Next, ensure your valve is closed. To our second spigot, and down below in the comment section as well as description section will be helpful videos on winterizing spigots, as well as unwinterizing or de-winterizing spigots, as well as installing an external mount for a garden hose. And just like the first spigot, ensure that the valve is closed. Next, somewhere on your property will be your irrigation system valve control box, as shown here. Yours may be a different size. Let's go and remove that stick and open it up. Let's take a closer look. Coming inside and check this out. And DIYers, we do not adjust anything inside this control valve box during the fall season. Yours may be different, so just ensure that yours is properly configured and positioned for the spring season and reopening of your drip line system or irrigation system. However, that is what ours looks like. We are now back inside, and it's time to plug the unit in. I took the power cord off the top portion of the box so it doesn't fall. We need to open that up and ensure that when we plug everything in, it boots up and operates correctly. And be careful as you plug everything in. Coming up top again, ensuring that the system is turning on correctly. To the right of that is our rain sensor receiver. And as you can see, it's red right now, but that should turn green once it communicates to the exterior sensor, and the sensor tells this receiver that it's dry and it's not raining out. Coming up to the screen, I'm going to select status, and it looks like we are connected to the Wi-Fi. And the receiver is communicating with the exterior sensor, and the sensor is telling it is dry and ready for watering. I'll go and close everything up. Taking a step back and looking at the plumbing, I've got copper pipes as well as a white pipe. The white pipe is what feeds water all the way to the exterior plumbing portion of our drip line system. And we need to Open up some valves. However, prior to opening up those main shutoff valves to the drip line system, we are going to open up the shutoff valves to our spigots. Sounds like laundry's going on. I hear the washer. Up top on the ladder, be careful, you don't want to fall off. The shutoff valve is now in line with the plumbing and in the full open position. Back inside where the main shutoff valve plumbing is, and we are going to open up the top white valve here, again in line with the plumbing. And this is where it gets loud, DIYers. We're opening up the shutoff valve to our main water supply that will feed water upstream and out to the entire drip line system. It's going to get loud. And from here, just check for leaks. If it starts leaking any water, even a few drips, close your shutoff valves and address the leaks. And the water is flowing and no leaks. Let's head outside. All right, DIYers, back outside. And again, here is our configuration with the valves. And right now the water is on inside as we just did. And this little backflow valve in the closed position tells us two things. Number one, it's closed. And number two, it is completely stopping all water from coming out of the internal plumbing and stopping right at this valve, which prevents it going upstream through the diaphragm area and to this valve. And the reason why we kept this open is because we wanted to ensure that this backflow valve in the fully closed position is doing what it's supposed to do. Prevent all water from passing through this point and through the valve and upstream. Again, this valve's open. However, no water's coming out and downstream. What we do now, come back up to this valve and we are going to open it. It is fully open when it is 100% in line with the plumbing pipe itself. Now we are going to carefully and slowly open up this valve, and it may shoot a bit of water out of the underside of the diaphragm, but just momentarily. If it's constant flow, close this valve and address that leak. In addition, no water should come out of these ports here because again, we use that flathead screwdriver to close the internal valves. Again, carefully open up this valve. And as you saw, just a little bit of water, a little bit of shaking, and we are up and running. No water coming out of that valve because we closed it. No water spraying out of the underside of the diaphragm, and no water spraying out of those ports. That is how it is configured at this point. Next, prior to activating or turning on our drip line system, I'm just checking our spigots to ensure that the, again, valve is closed and it's not leaking or spraying everywhere. That's working as designed. To our second spigot, and again, in the fully closed position, it's not spraying or leaking. Back to the in-ground irrigation valve control system here. No aggressive spraying, no leaking. Looks good. DIYers, from here we are going to get on our app, which is on our phone, and it is the HydroWise app. We are going to turn on the zones and begin the flow of water through the entire drip line system. Back inside, and I just turned the system on. I hear the water flowing through the plumbing. It is very important this stage, as all the other stages, of verifying no leaks anywhere in the plumbing, any of the fittings or anywhere. If there's any leaks, close those valves. You do not want water spraying or leaking anywhere. Back at one of the valves for the external spigot, and that is not leaking as well. Back outside, and no leaks from any of the fittings, any of the valves, any portions of the plumbing. That's what you want. And the system is filled with a bunch of air, so anticipate some air bubble sounds as the water moves through the plumbing and pushes all that air out. Back to the in-ground control system. Again, no aggressive spraying, no leaking. That would not be good. All looks good. Now to the actual drip line system. This is the only portion of our entire garden that is not buried, and we are going to weed this and plant sunflowers. However, as you can see, it is doing what it is supposed to be doing. Next, while the drip line system is up and running, I'm going to test these spigots. Open it up. A little bit of spurting, again, some air bubbles. Great, to our second spigot. Look at that. Get all that air out of the system. And some discolored water, that's normal, and a spider, check that out. Maybe he was inside that plumbing. Got shot out, not sure. Perfect. Taking a step back at DIYers, that's it. We are up and running and no leaks, which is what you want. I let zone 1 and zone 2 run for 25 minutes each. I shut them off. I'll now log on to the app and reprogram it. I'll have zone 1 run at 5 a.m. every day until 5:30. It will turn off, and then zone 2 will turn on at 5:30 and run until 6 every day. And again, that's in the morning. So the entire garden will be watered before the sun comes up. I also closed up the in-ground control valve system as shown here. I also installed our hoses. That's it, DIYers. Again, hopefully this helps. Do us a favor, below the video, you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching.